Some people do not just have feelings. They receive them like weather. A tone shift in a meeting can stay in their body all afternoon. A sad look from a stranger can follow them home. A text that says sure can open a whole investigation inside their mind. And when everyone else seems to move on, they are still carrying the emotional echo. If that sounds like you, you may have spent years calling yourself too sensitive. But what if the problem was never that you feel too much? What if your nervous system simply notices more than the world gives you time to process? People who feel everything too deeply are often treated as if they are dramatic, fragile, or difficult. They are told to calm down, to stop overthinking, to not take things personally. But deep feeling is not always a lack of control. Sometimes it is a high-resolution emotional system operating in a low-resolution culture. Your mind picks up details other people filter out. Micro-expressions, pauses, room tension, small changes in energy, the hidden meaning behind a sentence that sounded harmless on the surface. In psychology, one useful idea here is sensory processing sensitivity. It describes a pattern where some people process internal and external information more deeply. Not better, not worse, more deeply. That can include sound, light, social cues, emotion, conflict, beauty, pain, and other people's moods. It is not a diagnosis. It is a way of describing why some nervous systems seem to take in more signal from the same room. And when you take in more signal, ordinary life can become emotionally loud. You may enter an office kitchen and instantly feel that two coworkers are annoyed with each other. You may join a Zoom call and notice the person who has gone quiet. You may read a group chat and sense the pressure underneath the jokes. You may watch a movie scene and feel it in your chest as if it happened to someone you know. This can make you thoughtful, empathic, and perceptive. It can also make you exhausted, because the same system that helps you notice beauty also notices danger. The same mind that understands people quickly can also scan for rejection quickly. The same heart that feels music, memory, and connection can also absorb disappointment like a sponge. This is the first thing to understand. Deep feeling is not only about emotion, it is about processing depth. Your brain may not stop at the event itself. It asks what the event means. Why did they say it that way? Did I hurt them? Are they pulling away? What did I miss? What should I have done differently? That meaning-making can become a gift when it helps you learn, create, repair, and understand. But without boundaries, it turns into rumination. Rumination is when the mind circles around distress instead of moving through it. It can feel productive because you are thinking, but emotionally it may keep the wound open. You are not solving the moment anymore. You are re-entering it. This is why a small comment can replay at midnight. Not because you are weak, because your mind is trying to reduce uncertainty by reviewing every frame. The problem is that emotional uncertainty rarely gives a clean answer. So the review becomes a loop. And the loop begins to feel like truth. People who feel deeply often confuse intensity with importance. If it hurts this much, it must mean something huge. If I am anxious, something must be wrong. If I cannot stop thinking about it, I must need to fix it now. But feelings are signals, not always instructions. They deserve attention. They do not always deserve the steering wheel. This distinction can change everything. Your sadness might be asking for care. Your anger might be pointing to a boundary. Your anxiety might be reacting to uncertainty. Your guilt might be old training from years of keeping other people comfortable. The feeling is real, but the story attached to it may need checking. One reason deep feelers get overwhelmed is that they often learned to manage the emotional temperature of the room. Maybe in childhood peace depended on noticing subtle changes. A parent's mood, a sibling's irritation, a silence before an argument. Or maybe you were simply born more responsive to your environment, then grew up in a world that rewarded emotional numbness. Either way, your attention became trained. You learned to scan. You learned to anticipate. You learned to adjust yourself before anyone had to ask. At first, this may have protected you. Later, it may have exhausted you, because a skill built for survival can become a habit that never turns off. You can be sitting safely in your apartment phone on the table, no emergency anywhere. Then one unread message makes your body act as if connection itself is at risk. You can be at dinner with friends, hearing laughter, seeing food, knowing everything is fine. But one person's distant expression pulls your attention like a magnet. You can receive one piece of criticism at work and suddenly forget every good thing you have ever done. This is how deep feeling becomes heavy. Not because your emotions are wrong, because they arrive with too much responsibility attached. You do not just feel sad. You feel responsible for explaining the sadness. You do not just notice tension. You feel responsible for fixing it. You do not just sense someone's discomfort. You feel responsible for becoming smaller so they can relax. That is where sensitivity turns into self-abandonment. And this is the hidden cost. When you feel everything deeply, you may start organizing your life around avoiding emotional impact. You answer messages quickly so nobody feels ignored. You over-explain so nobody misunderstands you. You stay quiet because you can already imagine every possible reaction. You say yes because someone else's disappointment feels physically uncomfortable. You keep peace so well that people mistake your silence for ease. But inside you are tired, not tired from being sensitive. Tired from carrying unassigned emotional labor. Deep feelers need a different kind of strength. Not the kind that shuts everything down. The kind that creates enough space between feeling and action. Space to ask, is this mine to carry? Space to ask, is this current or is this old? Space to ask, do I need to respond or do I need to regulate first? This is not about becoming cold. It is about becoming accurate. Because empathy without accuracy becomes absorption. You can care about someone's mood without making it your assignment. You can notice tension without merging with it. You can feel hurt without building a whole identity around being rejected. You can be emotionally open and still have a boundary. A boundary is not a wall against feeling. It is a filter that protects meaning. It lets you say, I can feel this, but I do not have to become it. I can notice this, but I do not have to solve it. I can love people, but I do not have to live inside their nervous systems. This is where deep feeling becomes wisdom, not when you feel less, when you learn what each feeling is allowed to do. Some feelings need expression. Some need rest. Some need a conversation. Some need food, sleep, sunlight, movement, or a break from the screen. Some are not messages from the present at all. They are echoes from a time when you had fewer choices. So when emotion rises, try not to ask what is wrong with me. Ask, what is my system protecting? What did this moment touch? What story did my body attach to this feeling? And what would a calmer part of me say if it had the microphone? This simple pause does not erase emotion. It gives you a second witness inside yourself. That witness is where freedom begins, because you are not only the wave, you are also the person learning how to stand in water. There is a version of you that can feel deeply without apologizing for it. A version that can cry at a song and still make a clear decision. A version that can sense tension without volunteering to disappear. A version that can love hard without confusing love with self-erasure. The world may keep telling you to grow thicker skin, but maybe you do not need thicker skin. Maybe you need stronger roots. Skin keeps everything out. Roots know what to take in, what to release, and where to stand. So if you feel everything too deeply, do not rush to become someone else. Start by removing the extra job description you never agreed to. You are not responsible for decoding every silence. You are not responsible for repairing every mood. You are not responsible for making your depth convenient for people who only know how to skim. Your sensitivity is not the wound. The wound is believing you must carry every feeling alone. The gift becomes lighter when it has boundaries. And when your depth finally has somewhere safe to land, it stops feeling like a flaw. It starts feeling like intelligence. Quiet intelligence. Emotional intelligence. The kind that notices what matters before the world has words for it. And if this felt like your inner world, stay close to inner cortex. Because sometimes healing begins the moment you realize you were never too much. You were just feeling without enough protection.